A successful job search isn't about finding just any job. It's about finding the right job. Your search focus will consist of a job title or field, an industry, and a geographic area. Identifying your focus is tremendously important to set out and start your job search with success. This will allow you to focus on the best possible opportunities that are a good fit for you. It will help you to make the most of the time you spend on your job search and help you to reach your goals more quickly. Whether you're conducting a job search after hours or full time, sifting through openings and identifying appropriate connections can feel downright overwhelming. Focusing your search can help alleviate stress and boost your results. Everyone can benefit from a bit of focus in their careers, and a focused job search can begin when you've made an intentional decision to move on from one organization. Or it may mean you want to be prepared for a change when the opportunity comes. This is part of managing your career. If you don't do it, no one else will. The secret to finding your focus, it all starts with knowing what you want. So focusing on job and career targets, work environment, and business reality are another way to do that. Often I'm asked, is it okay to have more than one focus? The short answer is that it can be. However, you want to be clear about your main area of focus. You will use this focus in all of your branding and your marketing materials and to tailor your resume and your LinkedIn profile, etc. I love this quote. If you're proactive, you don't have to wait for circumstances or other people to create perspective expanding experiences. You can consciously create your own. So this is about the importance of being proactive. I know many people who kind of let their careers happen to them rather than really taking the reins and designing them themselves. Again, although this takes some work, I feel that it's well worth it because we spend way too many of our waking hours at work not to love what we do. If your focus is off, everything will be off. We can't walk into an employer and say, I can do anything and I'm interested in any job. That will not be a good marketing strategy. You need to know what you want and then focus on that target. It's not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? At this point in your search, you want to adopt an attitude of curiosity. This is an opportunity to think beyond all that we've done and been before. You may even think of it as trying on different jobs. So the first element of focus that we want to look at is your job and career targets. There are a number of important questions that can help you to determine your career and job focus. And this is a great way to expand on maybe some other assessments or learning you've done about yourself. So in this stage, some of the most important questions are, what do you really want to do? When you were little, what did you dream about being when you grew up? What would you do if you didn't care what other people thought? What would you do if you couldn't fail? What if you had no limits? What if money was not an object? Begin by spending some time browsing through the ONET website. And this is at onetonline.org. This will give you all of the job classifications in various major career fields, as well as the Occupational Outlook Handbook. As you browse through this resource, jot down the standard occupational classification numbers and descriptions of up to 10 to 20 jobs or career classifications that sound like you'd enjoy doing or feel you could do well, even if you might need additional training or education to do them. These sites also help you match your skills to specific job requirements. Don't choose a code only because it fits your training or if it's in line with the work that you're comfortable with. Be open to new ideas. After conducting that exploration, narrow your choices down to your top 10 favorites. Consider first the choices that sound the most fun, and second, those that are consistent with your leisure activities, your favorite job tasks, and enjoyable natural skills. In this part of the exercise, you might want to take into account things like education, location, or other practical considerations to some extent, but don't limit yourself too much. Mark those that sound fun, as well as within the realm of practicality with a star. Being apprehensive or frustrated about constantly generating new job and career options, rest assured that this is normal at this stage. And I encourage you to capture the seemingly random ideas and thoughts and information that you're noticing as you go through this. You should now have a list of your top career areas or job descriptions that sound like fun to you, or at least are within the realm of possibility. So, next, return to that list and narrow it down even further. Think about things like your values. If you can assess that, do any of these jobs classifications really align well with your own values? Um, Also, note that you might not be able to determine that right away, and that's okay. But it helps you to kind of think about how do the things that are most important to you align with these opportunities. So, next, we'll look at work environment. Aspects to consider here include things such as geographic location. Where would you like to work? In the city or state where you currently live, or somewhere else altogether? Perhaps this is actually the perfect time to explore someplace new. Do you like to work in an office or outdoors, in an urban or rural setting, at home? These all fall into the geographic considerations. Pace. Do you enjoy an environment that's bustling and busy, or prefer an environment with a peaceful, slower pace? How many hours do you want to work each week? How many days per week or month? Think about support. One of the best ways to avoid burnout is to develop a supportive environment, one in which you have a sense of significance and autonomy, challenge and support, in which there's a relatively few number of unmanageable work stressors. And compensation. How much money do you need to turn into your ideal job? Which fringe benefits are most important to you? Size is also important to evaluate. Is your best work done with others or alone? Do you prefer a large company or small company? And think about organizational culture. How things are done, right? Do you prefer a company that's conservative or radically socially conscious, employee oriented, or bottom line oriented? Thinking through these things will allow you to effectively assess the type of work environment that will be best for you. After we identify the kinds of work that fulfill us emotionally, then we need to filter this through business reality, which asks tough questions like, can this occupation support me financially? Does it allow me to sustain the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to? So, business reality helps us to look at, among other things, can this occupation support me financially? Does it allow me to keep living the type of life, the style of life that I'm enjoying right now? And there are four factors in assessing the business reality of a potential career choice. Does the work that you want to do meet the need in the business or work world? Are the job targets that you've selected financially feasible? Are there enough potential or actual postings to make the job targets viable for a full scale job search? And are you prepared both mentally and financially for the realistic length of your job search? So, does the work you want to do meet the need? Or do you need to make some changes for that to occur? For many traditional job roles, there's always a market need. This includes salespeople, operations managers, and support staff. Other positions may require research into sources like that Occupational Outlook Handbook to determine whether the occupation you've chosen is projected to be growing, stable, or declining. So that's actually something that ONET will show you projected out into the future. And then, two, are the job targets that you selected financially feasible? So use one or more of the many internet salary sites to determine the average salary range for the type of work that you have been looking into. Some example websites could be things like Career Bliss, Glassdoor, Payscale, Jobstar, Salary.com. Again, by no means is this an objective list, but it gives you an example of a few that you could potentially look at. And then three, are there enough potential or actual positions to make the targets viable for that full scale search? Once you've chosen at least 3 to 5 targets that seem interesting, They need to be evaluated for viability. You may have a target that's too specialized and therefore too small of a pool of potential employers, or too large with a lot of openings and options, but too many to strategically pursue. So you want to research some additional information like desired company size, the position, the job function, the role, the geographic area. After that, consider looking at the size of the target market, which includes the total number of organizations, the number of probable positions fitting the desired criteria. And this information can be obtained through a number of different sources, things like trade publications, labor market information, the US Department of Labor website, or even local chambers of commerce, for example. And then four, are you prepared both mentally and financially for the realistic length of your job search? The typical search takes 3 to 6 months when the economy is doing pretty well, or you'll hear, 1 month for every $10,000 of salary. This, of course, depends on so many other factors, including the unemployment rate and other conditions. So, what plans have you made to support yourself financially during your job search? Consider the following factors, each of which might extend or reduce your search time: your clarity about what you're going after, your targets, the geographic scope that you're considering. Are you more open to a bigger geographic area? Whether you're making a career change, the size of your network of contacts, how marketable your skills are, economic or market conditions, your attitude, self confidence, and personality style, financial reserves, including severance, if that's part of what your situation is, support from family and friends, and the amount of effort or commitment you have to invest in your job search all make a difference. And then one tip when you get clear on your focus is to select 10 companies where you want to focus that your position that you're searching for can be found. Prioritize your top picks. And again, this list will evolve over time, over the course of your search. So start with what you know, research what you don't. And what if you're still not sure about your focus? If you still need some help with research, or you don't have any target companies in mind, consider some of these resources: Glassdoor, LinkedIn, CNN, Manta, Forbes, Melissa Data for nonprofit information, Business Week, Zoom Info. Again, this is also not an exhaustive list, but hopefully gives you some great resources to get started. So your focus is tremendously important, and it will allow you to be targeted in your search. And you'll then be able to clearly showcase this focus when you network and interview. So as a next step, start doing some reflection on these different questions so you can zero in on your focus and ideally identify a list of 10 target companies you can go after with that focus.